Last time on Days of Night. This Nikon FE that I shot last summer, mint condition, fired the shutter off a bunch of times, worked fantastic. I went and grabbed it a couple weeks ago because I was getting ready to review it, and the mirror locked up on me. Oh, shit. Hi everyone, Azriel Knight here, and in this episode, I'm going to give you my first impressions on the Nikon FE. Almost hit myself in the face with the strap. So as you saw last week, I made note of the Nikon FE and how it broke on me and how we can't trust antique cameras anymore. Well, I think I had the batteries in backwards or something, and I wasn't aware of something on the Nikon called a mechanical override. A lot of people said, hey man, why don't you just switch it over to the M90? And I'm like, what? Thank you to everybody who commented. I'm so glad I was able to realize that it was just my own stupidity and not something wrong with the camera itself. So let's take a look at the Nikon FE, and for that test, I went out to a small town called Hussar, Alberta. Let's take a look. I'm out here in the village of Hussar, Alberta, in Wheatland County. Population, bing. And all I can hear right now are frogs. It rained for about half of my trip down here and stopped just before I arrived. Now I'm at a lake called Dead Horse. I think it's called Dead Horse Lake. You can probably just barely see it in the background. And I was thinking about walking up to that to get what I imagine to be a very minimalist photo, because right now I'm dealing with an overcast day and holy shit, it just started raining. As I probably mentioned in my intro, I'm testing out the Nikon FE. It's got a 50mm 1.8, and I'm shooting Kodak Tri-X at box speed. It could be worse. It could be snow. I honestly don't know how much closer I want to get. The ground's starting to get pretty muddy. There is, however, a grain elevator in front of me, and though I probably shot it already, I didn't from this angle. Alright, it would appear that the weather is getting worse and not better. And I don't know how waterproof all of this is. Okay, back at the car. I don't plan on leaving yet. And don't get me wrong, I love photographing in the rain. However, I don't want to be caught out there for the entire duration of it. And I wanted to come back for a little, I am currently on photo number 21. I have finished off my roll of Tri-X. I thought about starting another one, but I honestly don't think I'd be able to finish it. This has been a great experience. I'd like to come back here at some point. Time to get home and get this roll developed. No waiting for you though. Here are today's highlights, and then we'll talk about my first impressions of the Nikon FE. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those photos. Before I get into my thoughts and opinions on the Nikon FE, I'd like to talk about a few technical hurdles I had this episode, and if you'd like to skip that, you can go to this time index here. The seals on my particular camera are total goop, but either they weren't bad enough for light leaks, the overcast day saved it, or keeping it in my bag prevented a problem. Or maybe it was a combination of the three. I have seen cameras with goopy seals before work fine, so I'm not too surprised. I'm still using Tri-X, so I still have Newton rings. The line I mentioned that looks like a scratch but isn't has persisted. It's dirt on or in the scanner sensors. If you need to confirm this for yourself, switch to a color scan. If it's a different color like purple or stands out, chances are it's your scanner. This time I tried cleaning it out, but it didn't work, which means it might be underneath. Might be time to take my scanner out back and shoot it. There is a scratch on the film though, from dust inside the camera. It comes and goes, and I hope a blowout will do the trick. Lastly, this looked like a crescent mark from rough handling, but it was in fact a water spot. I know this because I licked my thumb and I rubbed it off. So what do I think of the Nikon FE? Well, first, now that I know that it has a mechanical override, I think that's fantastic. On several occasions, usually with a Canon AE1, I'm in the middle of shooting and the battery dies on me, and I gotta go hunt another one down. But this you can switch to M90, and at least with some Sunny 16 math, you can finish off your roll. It feels in the hand to me, I mean, like any other camera, an AE1, an ME Super, an OM2N, all those silver cameras with the leather strip on the back. I mean, fake leather, but you know what I mean, from the late 70s, early 80s. Really common design. I will say though, it does seem a little beefier on the top, and the overall build quality feels more solid. The Series E 50mm 1.8 that came with my purchase of the Nikon FE was a lot sharper than I expected. Other than that though, it acted like every other nifty 50. I don't actually know if this is a kit lens for the FE. I'm thinking probably not, but I could be wrong on that. Either way, it suited my needs just fine. I left the shutter on auto the entire time. When I'm testing a new camera, I want to see how the light meter works. I want to see how it decides how an average photo should be exposed, and I think it performed amazing. Now, normally when you're testing a camera for the first time and something goes wrong, it's hard to tell if it's the meter or shutter drag. But in this case, I had almost no clipping on my highlights in any of my shots. My negatives look great. The exposures were, as far as I'm concerned, spot on. So I don't think either the meter or the shutter had any issues in my particular model. If I absolutely had to pick a complaint, I would say that there's this lever that you have to push before you can pull up and release your film. And I understand that that's a safety feature, but I haven't seen it around much on other cameras, and I don't know if I like it. I think there might be too much going on here. You've got the safety release for the pull-up, you've got an exposure compensation, and you've got your ISO, so it's a little clustered on the left, if I had to make a complaint about this camera. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider becoming my patron on Patreon. Through Patreon, you'll get newsletters, early release videos, and exclusive prints. You could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and until next time, stay classic.